You are now listening to the How to Evolve podcast. You can find this channel on Twitter, Gab.ai, BitChute, and Minds.com. This is a Real American Patriot channel for Real American Patriot. If you're not a Real American Patriot, please exit the channel. Furthermore, we are not sponsored by any outside interference. That means we're unscripted, unrehearsed, and unedited. With that being said, transmission will commence momentarily.
How you guys doing? Welcome to the How to Evolve podcast. I'm your host, Safan. Check us out on BitChute. Subscribe us on BitChute, most importantly. Subscribe us on Minds, Twitter, Gap.com. Most importantly, subscribe us on YouTube, because YouTube are seriously banning a lot of people and demonetizing people for unfair treatments of content creators, right? It support us a lot, not just only me, but other conservative-based YouTubers. But on that note, guys, let's start the show. In this episode, I want to talk to you about what's going on in communist country. If you don't know me by now, you know what I feel about communism, right? I am anti-communism, anti-socialism, anti all these democratic democracy BS. They don't understand this when they perpetuate democracy. The United States is not a democracy. A United States is a republic. This is what people don't understand. They just these liberal media have been infesting TV, saying, "Oh, this is democracy. This is democracy." When you look down and deep inside, America is not a democracy. It's a republic, right? That's why we have the electoral colleges. If we're a democracy, then we'll be based on the popular vote. All right, we're a republic, which means it's a state power. It's a state get the vote. All right, we just vote what state wins. All right, and that's why you have the electoral colleges. All right, but on that note, guys, I want to share you this article about what's going on in Venezuela. What Mike Pompeo said about the Maduro diet. All right, give me 1 second while I load this up for you guys. All right, just bear with me. I'm only a one-man production company right now. All right, I ain't got no help. I'm trying to wake up America by myself. But look at this. This article in Breitbart News said Pompeo trashes Maduro diet. Over 60% of Venezuelans go to bed hungry. All right, let's read this article. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo urged the world to unite to find some solution to the hunger crisis in Venezuela at the World's Food Prize laureate announcement ceremony, arguing that we all have an obligation to get the country off the Maduro diet. The Maduro diet is the long-time nickname Venezuelans have to use to describe severe food shortage in the country and homage to socialism and dictator Nicolas Maduro. All right. The 2019 World Food Prize went to Dutch agriculture scientist Simon Groot, whose work spanned years designing disease-resistant wheat and rice. According to Pompeo, some estimate that he saved more than 1 billion lives. That's the B with billion. There is no prizes big enough to recognize this amazing work, Pompeo said. Groot will receive a $250,000 reward to recognize for his work. He is the first laureate, I can't pronounce it right, laureate from the native Netherlands. Speaking on the award ceremony, Pompeo noted that food security is a significant challenge for such a humanitarian threat, destabilize even the developing world. He uses Venezuela once a wealthy country. Yes, in 1997, they were a wealthy country in the Latin America as a cautionary tale. In Venezuela, for example, more than 60% of the country goes to bed hungry each and every night, and many have sorted to rummage through garbage bins to feed themselves and their children, Pompeo said. Malnourishment is so widespread that Venezuelans refer to it as Maduro diet. We all have an obligation to work in each of these problems. It isn't just a human tragedy when we see hunger. It takes a hold of country. It can permeate the destructive cycle of crime and violence stability, right? He noted. Once people get hungry, they get violent. You guys know that? Because people aren't able to go on fasting, right? Hungry is a tough pain to control, right? It's very tough because not unless you have Jesus or the faith in you, it's hard for you to conquer hunger, right? It's a very spiritual battle. And some people can't handle it, some people can't. And the people that can't handle it, they have to resort to violence to stop being hungry. All right, this is what happened when people aren't very faith grounded, right? They don't have hope in themselves, so they rely on crime to get themselves out of the situations. And that's basically, if you're gonna go to crime, that's, to my opinion, I think that's a weak tactics to use. All right, you're very weak if you aren't capable to control your own hunger. All right, according to Pompeo, over 820 million people on Earth endure chronic hunger. The State Department, he said, is working within the private sector to send an aid to some of the most troubled regions. Our diplomats work with local leaders, local government to respond to the food crisis all across the world, and recipient of the U.S. food assistance included war-weary people of Syria, South Sudan, Somalia, Nigeria, and Yemen. Most importantly, Yemen, he noted it. We have stationed aid in the Colombia and Venezuelan people. Colombia for the Venezuelan people. We are already doing more in each of these locations. Pompeo said that while in the State Department is trying to help, the solutions probably won't come from the government. All right, this is Maduro. He's an idiot. All right, unlike the government, innovators don't view problems as an obstacle. They view them as an opportunity. He noted. Pompeo notably mentioned that the State Department has sent food to Colombia, but not to Venezuela, to help the starving Venezuelans, because they don't allow anything from American to go in Venezuela. As you can see that in the news, they prevent any aid from going in there from America. The Trump administration did try to send humanitarian to aid Venezuela, but Maduro regime had blocked it. Like I said, the regime had repeatedly denied the existence of humanitarian aid problem to the country, and claimed that American aid is meant to embarrass the regime. Maduro current Vice President Delcy Rodriguez claimed that the television in February that the United States food shipments to Venezuela were nefarious and genocidal plot to kill Venezuela. He referred to the American food as a carcinogen and the biological weapons. The United States tried to send much needed food to the medicine and the Venezuela via Colombia, and March Maduro government placed grant travel to main bridges connecting to the two countries and prevent it from entering the Palms. On Palm Sunday, Pompeo visited the bridges and demanded Maduro's allowing the U.S. to help to feed the people. Mr. Maduro opened the bridges to open these borders. You can end this today. I hope you care. I hope that you will care enough to see people in horror when you see this tragedy to change the way you leave your country, Pompeo said the Colombia borders by Chucuta. In the 213 million in aid in the U.S. sent to Venezuela, largely being distributed to refugees in Cucuta, Maduro closely regulates the border, crossing only intermittently allowing them. When he opened the borders this weekend, the first time 4 months, and the establishment of 18,000 people crosses into the Colombia for food and medicine. The current circulating Senate bill would increase U.S. aid to Venezuela by 400 million. Venezuela's food situation has been alarming for years under the late dictator Hugo Chavez and the later Maduro. The socialist nationalists robbed the nation's major farming industry and took over most farming land, replacing experienced agriculture experts with their social cronies. The result has been nearly complete halt on Venezuelan agriculture produce, and reliance on aid from countries like China. Venezuela has similarly run out of medicine and gasoline for other, despite having the world's largest known oil reserve, except to the United States. They don't understand what the situation is in. Venezuela is, the communist regime are so in denial right now. All right, see how dumb they are. In 2007, the study found that 93% of the country could not afford 3 meals a day. Only 32% said that the country afford 2 meals. Most only ate breakfast. Another 15% of Venezuelans rely on digging through the garbage to find substance. By the end of the 2017, average Venezuelan lost 24 pounds involuntarily. The production of not being able to secure enough food. Venezuelan began to call the Maduro diet. Maduro himself has joked about the diet. In 2016, he said on TV, Maduro diet get you hard, not get you hard, no need for Viagra. What the heck? This guy's ridiculous, right? Get you hard, no need for Viagra. And look, at these people, right? And an argument that people want to say is that, oh, the American food is all GMO. You know what? It's all GMO. It's not organic. It's not up to certain standards, right? It's not up to certain standards. This, that, and that. You know what? This is what I gotta say. If you're gonna use that kind of logic, when you're hungry, it doesn't matter if it's GMO or not. You're gonna eat it, all right, to stay survive. All right. If we're in a doomsday apocalypse right now, life-threatening situations, right, and the only way for me to stay alive is eating this GMO food, I will eat this GMO food. At the rate that they're going right now, the Venezuelan people can't be picky what type of food. The food they're gonna eat it regardless, all right, to stay alive, to feed their kids, to feed their family, all right. Even though I don't condone GMO foods, if you don't eat GMO food, that's fine. If you do, that's fine too. I don't matter. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But I mercifully try to avoid. I try to eat as organic and natural as possible. But I'm not that picky. If I have no option, I will eat GMO food just to stay survive. All right, it's a matter of life and death situations. All right, and these people, they're not in position to be picky what type of food they're in right now. All right, and this lie of the carcinogen food, you know what? Give it to these people. I'm sure they'll eat it. All right. It's better to them. I think right now, I'm not speaking on their behalf, but in my opinion, I think that to them, any food will be better than roaming through the garbage, right? They're even eating food from the garbage. If they're eating food from the garbage, you think they mind eating these these GMO foods? All right, I don't think they mind at all. It should be eating out from the garbage with all these deteriorating, spoiled food will get them even more sicker. All right. But this will show you what kind of government regime is going on in Venezuela. People are going hungry over there. This is why I'm so a strong advocate against communism, socialism, right? And we have all these Democrats that are pushing this kind of thing. They're pushing stuff. They never use Venezuela as an example. They never use North Korea as an example of what's to come when you choose socialism, when you choose communism, when you vote for Bernie Sanders, when you voted for AOC, when you live in a state like California, when you have all these socialistic programs, they don't understand it'll make them broke. They don't have a sense of saving. They don't have a sense of being conservative. They don't have a sense of thinking for the future, right? They only want that for right now, but they never think what's going to happen in the future. All right, this is why I'm strong advocate against communism, socialism. All right, it's so un-American. Socialism is un-American. Socialism is not patriotic at all. Right? It's anything beyond American if you're for socialism. You're not American at all. If you're for socialism, why don't you go to this country and live there? Go to Venezuela. Go to North Korea. Go to China and just live there. If you're so for this kind of situation, right? If you think so much of think highly of these policies that we should implement, this healthcare, go to that country. All right, if you want free healthcare, go to London. Go to France. Go to Canada. All right? But no, they all want to come to America. If their country is so great, why are we having all these surges of immigrants from Canada? People from Canada are moving to America. People in UK are moving to America. People in France are moving to America. But why are you moving to America? You got free healthcare over there. All right? You got free healthcare. Why don't you stay in your country if free healthcare is so good? I don't understand that. Canadians who come to America, I'm nothing against Canadian, right? Canadian comes to America. If the country that live in America, if your country is so great that you like free healthcare in Canada, why are you here in America? I don't understand that. I don't understand that logic, right? If your country is so great, why are you over here? Right? This communist country, right? This communist Chinese, communist people over. Why are you over here? I don't understand it. If you like communism so much, go to a communist country. It only makes sense. See, that's what I'm telling you. The logic of these liberals, is a brain disorder. They have cognitive dissonance. They have inferiority complex. They have all these mentally disordered diseases that they can't identify themselves with. But I digress, right? Because of what I'm saying, because of what I'm reporting, right? YouTube are not monetizing my channel. Because they're not monetizing my channel, I'm unscripted, unrehearsed, and unedited. I mean, I can say whatever I want without being bounded by any outside interference. Because of that, I'm not taking any donations, right? The point of this channel is to get people to think, right? To get people to ask questions, all right? To not be a group thinker, not to be a group follower, not to be sheeps, all right? If I help one person to think outside the box, I've done my job, right? Because of that, I'm not taking any donations because it's not the point of this channel. I don't want any donations, right? But one thing that helps me out a lot is by subscribing to my channel. Subscribe me on BitChute. Follow me on Minds, Twitter, and Gab. Most importantly, I'm staying on YouTube until the wheels fall off. So most importantly, subscribe on YouTube. Because when you subscribe, you're encouraging me to make more videos. The more video I make, the more I could saturate YouTube algorithm. The more I could saturate YouTube algorithm, the more I could reach people. And the more I could reach people, the more I could persuade people to think for themselves and ask questions. That's the point of this video. All right. If you like what I do, please like, share, subscribe. Most important, subscribe. All right. I know your time is precious, and I'm trying not to waste any of your time. This is the Highly Evolved Podcast, and I thank you for joining the show. My name is Safan. On that note, guys, I'm checking out. Peace.